History sometimes shows itself in the most surprising ways, often when we least expect it. The forests of Canada, vast and ancient, have always held their secrets close, whispering stories through the rustling leaves and the shifting shadows. In 2018, near the small town of Wawa, Ontario, a powerful storm swept through the region. When the winds died down, a tree had fallen, its roots torn from the earth, exposing something remarkable hidden beneath the forest floor for countless years. There, nestled among the roots, was a carved stone, an artifact that would soon challenge everything we thought we knew about Canada's distant past and the people who once walked these woods. The stone was striking, with a large, clear square etched into its surface, filled with strange, angular symbols. These markings were unlike any art or writing known to have been made by the local Indigenous peoples, raising immediate questions. News of the discovery spread quickly, puzzling local residents and drawing archaeologists, historians, and curious onlookers from far and wide to the site, eager to see the mysterious stone for themselves. Experts soon realized that the symbols resembled runes from Scandinavia, ancient letters used by Norse explorers. The idea of finding such runes deep in the Canadian wilderness was both thrilling and perplexing. Who could have carved these symbols so far from home? When did they come here? And what message were they hoping to leave behind for future generations to discover? The stone itself looked ancient and weathered, its carvings softened by time and the elements. Its true purpose remained a mystery, inviting speculation and wonder. This was no accident, nor the idle doodling of a passerby. The engravings were deliberate, carefully made to endure through centuries, as if someone wanted their story to survive long after they were gone. The Wawa runestone quickly became a magnet for history lovers and adventurers alike, offering a rare, tangible link to people whose lives and journeys have faded from memory. For centuries, the forest had guarded its secret, the stone lying undisturbed beneath the trees. Now, with its discovery, the world was finally paying attention, eager to unlock the secrets of the past. The journey to uncover the stone's story had only just begun, promising new adventures and perhaps even more astonishing discoveries in the wilds of Ontario. What truths would the Wawa runestone reveal about the people who left their mark in this faraway land, and how might it change our understanding of history forever? The location of the runestone is just as mysterious and intriguing as the message carved into its surface. It sits in a place that feels almost untouched by time, hidden away from the eyes of most people. Wawa, Ontario is a small remote town nestled in the heart of the wild Canadian Shield. Surrounded by endless forests, rocky outcrops, and sparkling lakes, it's a place where nature still rules and the wilderness stretches as far as the eye can see. Back in the 1800s, this region was even more isolated than it is today. The only way to reach it was by paddling for days along winding rivers or trekking through dense, unforgiving forests. There were no roads, no easy paths, just raw, untamed land. The runestone itself is carved directly into the bedrock, a permanent mark on the earth that cannot be moved or easily erased. Whoever chose this spot must have had a powerful reason, something that made this exact place significant. But why here, in the heart of the wilderness, so far from any settlements or known trade routes? The location raises as many questions as the runestone's message itself. Creating these carvings would have taken days, maybe even weeks of hard, careful work. It required not just skill, but also a deep sense of purpose and determination to leave something behind in such a remote place. Perhaps the site was chosen for its breathtaking views, its peaceful solitude, or because it held spiritual meaning for those who came here. Maybe it was a sacred place, or a secret meeting spot known only to a few. The runestone was found buried under 6 inches of earth, hidden from sight for generations. Was it covered to protect it from the elements, or was the act of burying it part of a ritual, a way to keep its message safe until the right moment? In a land as harsh and challenging as this, leaving a mark that would last for centuries was a true feat of strength and willpower. It speaks to the determination and resilience of those who came before us. The Wawa runestone is more than just an ancient artifact. It's a testament to the human desire to be remembered, to leave a story behind for future generations to discover and wonder about. Its remote, lonely setting only deepens the sense of mystery and significance, inviting us to imagine the people who once stood here, carving their message into stone and into history. When the runestone was first discovered deep in the Canadian wilderness, It immediately sparked curiosity and excitement among archaeologists and historians alike. The find was so unusual that experts rushed to the site, eager to uncover its secrets and determine its origins. Archaeologist Ryan Primrose led the investigation, carefully studying the stone's markings. It didn't take long for him to realize that the symbols carved into the rock were unlike any indigenous markings known in the region. The sharp, angular shapes of the carvings looked strikingly similar to runes, ancient letters once used by people in Scandinavia to record their stories, beliefs, and even magical spells. To unlock the meaning of these mysterious symbols, Primrose reached out to Henrik Williams, a world-renowned expert in Swedish runes. Williams's expertise would prove crucial in deciphering the message hidden in the stone. Using high-resolution photographs and careful rubbings, the team compared the runes to known examples. They soon realized that these runes didn't match the style of the Viking Age, but instead belonged to a later Swedish tradition. This discovery placed the carvings in the 1700s or 1800s, a time when Swedish immigrants and explorers were making their mark in North America. The stone's 255 symbols were arranged in a perfect square, suggesting that this was not a casual message, but a carefully crafted inscription, perhaps a dedication, a memorial, or even a sacred text. Working together, the team painstakingly transcribed each rune, converting the ancient script into modern Swedish, letter by letter, word by word. The translation revealed something astonishing. This was no random collection of marks, but a coherent message, carefully composed and preserved for centuries. The scholars decided to keep their findings private until they could be absolutely certain of their interpretation, knowing the significance of what they had uncovered. Unlike many previous claims of runic inscriptions in North America, this discovery was backed by solid evidence and the consensus of leading experts in the field. What once appeared to be mysterious scratches on a weathered stone had now become a clear and powerful message from the past, connecting continents and generations. The stone, silent for centuries, was finally ready to speak, and its story was just beginning to unfold. The message on the stone was amazing, the complete Lord's Prayer, carved in Swedish runes. Here in the wild lands of Ontario, someone had carefully carved Christianity's most holy prayer. Choosing this text was very personal, a statement of faith and a request for guidance. By using runes, a writing style connected to their Scandinavian roots, the carvers mixed their old heritage with their new belief. Runes, once used for pagan beliefs, had become a symbol of cultural identity in the countryside of Sweden. The Wawa inscription is a rare mix of Christian devotion and old traditions. Next to the prayer, there was a simple picture, a boat with 16 people, likely the carvers themselves. The boat stood for both their journey and their faith, making the carving a personal story. This was more than a prayer. It was a record of who they were and what they believed. 16 people, far from home, united by faith and heritage, left their mark forever. The stone became their lasting voice. Figuring out the prayer brought up a new question. Why were Swedes in such a remote part of Canada? The answer has to do with the Hudson's Bay Company, which hired workers from Scandinavia because they were tough and skilled. In the 1800s, Swedes, Norwegians, and Scots worked at faraway trading posts, dealing with harsh conditions. The runestone, over 200 years old, probably marks a group of Swedish workers traveling by canoe. Cut off and far from home, their faith was a very important source of strength. The stone is not a Viking artifact, but a sign of working-class men building a life in a foreign land. Their story, often forgotten, is now carved in stone, a voice for the overlooked people who helped build Canada. The Wawa runestone honors their toughness and spirit. Why use runes for a Christian prayer? For these Swedes, Christianity was very important, but so was their cultural background. The Lord's Prayer was a comfort, a lifeline in a strange world. Carving it in runes was both an act of worship and a statement of who they were. The runic writing connected them to their ancestors, making them different from others in the fur trade. The Wawa runestone is a beautiful mix, faith and heritage, not fighting each other, but woven together. These men didn't give up their roots, they brought them into their new life. The stone is a monument to a mixed identity, formed in the Canadian wilderness. It shows how people who move adapt, mixing old and new to create something special. The runestone is a symbol of strength, faith and tradition living side by side, even in the most remote places. It's a story of fitting in, not losing who you are. Their prayer, in runes, is a powerful legacy. What's most telling about the Wawa runestone is what wasn't found. Experts found no tools, pottery, or signs of a camp, nothing but the carving itself. This lack of objects suggests the spot wasn't a place where people lived, but something more purposeful. Archaeologist Ryan Primrose believes it was an outdoor place of worship, a church without walls. 16 men stopping their journey, gathered here to pray and carve their faith into stone. This act turned a piece of wilderness into holy ground. The stone became their Bible, the forest their church. No other objects confirm the pureness of their goal. They came not to rest, but to worship. The runestone is a monument to how faith can create a holy space anywhere. Runic carvings are rare, even in Scandinavia. Finding one in North America is amazing. Unlike other questionable runestones, the Wawa stone is real, connected to Swedish workers of the Hudson's Bay Company. It's a primary source carved into the solid rock of the continent. The discovery adds to Canadian history, showing the role of Europeans who were not British or French. The fur trade had many cultures. Swedes, Norwegians, and Scots all played important parts. The runestone remembers these forgotten contributors. It's a sign of cultural survival, traditions carried on and changed in a new world. How rare the find is makes its message powerful. It's a unique voice from the wilderness, helping us understand more about faith, moving to new places, and who we are. The Wawa runestone makes the story of early Canada more complex and richer. The Wawa runestone answers many questions, but mysteries still remain. We know who likely carved it and why, but not their names or what happened to them in the end. Did they go back home or build new lives in Canada? The stone only gives us a small peek. Was it buried on purpose as a ritual or just by time? The runestone makes us think about faith, heritage, and the human need to leave a mark. 16 men far from home created a church in the wilderness.